Roger Taylor was on his way to see his oldest friend when the phone rang. He never made it through the door. Freddie Mercury was already gone. That phone call on November 25, 1991, didn't just mark the end of one of rock music's greatest voices. For Roger, it took something far more personal. The one man who had known him before any of it mattered. Before the stadiums, before the gold records, before Queen meant anything to anyone. Years later, someone asked Roger which person from his past he'd want one final conversation with. He didn't pause. Freddie. He wished he'd been able to say goodbye. That quiet regret might be the most human part of his entire story. Roger Meadows Taylor was born in Norfolk in 1949 and grew up in Truro, Cornwall, about as far from rock stardom as you can get. He worked his way through ukuleles and guitars before drums gave him what the other instruments couldn't: power, presence, the ability to lead from behind. As a teenager, he was already performing at local halls and dances, earning a reputation as someone who took music more seriously than the occasion usually required. In 1967, he moved to London to study dentistry. But getting to London was always the real plan. The city was alive with possibility. Hendrix, Cream, the Beatles rewriting what albums could be. Roger answered an ad on a college notice board looking for a drummer in the style of Ginger Baker. The guitarist behind that notice was Brian May. Their group was called Smile, and hovering around the edges of nearly every rehearsal was a sharp-eyed art student named Freddie Bulsara. Freddie didn't ask for permission. He told them what they were missing, what they could become, and what they needed to be called. Roger found him fascinating rather than excessive, which already tells you something about who Roger Taylor is. When Smile's original singer departed, Freddie stepped in. The name Queen followed. Then John Deacon completed the lineup in 1971, and something clicked into place that none of them fully understood yet. Roger was never content to simply keep time. His voice, high, rough, and instantly recognizable, shaped some of Queen's most iconic arrangements. He wrote Radio Gaga, which sold in 19 countries and produced one of live music's most memorable crowd moments. A kind of magic followed. He released solo albums, formed his own band, and pushed the boundaries of what the drummer in the back was supposed to do. Then everything began to change. After the Magic Tour wrapped in 1986, Queen never toured with Freddie again. The band recorded 2 more albums while working around his declining health, and Roger watched someone who had once seemed unbreakable become fragile. These Are the Days of Our Lives grew out of that period. Roger wrote it thinking about his children and the speed of ordinary life. When Freddie sang it, the words became something else entirely. What followed Freddie's death reshaped the rest of Roger's life. John Deacon eventually stepped away from music altogether. The 4 men who had built everything together were reduced to 2 who still wanted to perform. Roger kept going, first with Paul Rodgers, then with Adam Lambert, always with Freddie's memory woven into the show. Now 77, Roger is still writing and still performing. He's no longer the young drummer in grainy concert footage. He's one of the last people alive who remembers the beginning. A market stall in Kensington, 2 young men selling second-hand clothes and making plans that sounded impossible. And somehow, those plans became history. If Queen's music has ever meant something to you, leave a comment and let us know which song takes you back. And if stories like this one matter to you, subscribing keeps them coming.